Hello everyone, in this video I will teach you all the basics of Excel from absolute beginner all the way to regression analysis. So if you don't know anything about Excel, this is just the right video for you. I will teach you everything from scratch, and at the end of this video, by 1 hour, you will be able to do data analysis and regression analysis. Okay, so let's get started. We will start with importing a text file that includes some data about a fleet of cars in a car dealership. So at the very first step, we will learn how to import a text file and then convert it into a spreadsheet and a file that Excel understands that. Let's go ahead and start working with this file. Okay, so I'm gonna fire up a blank Excel sheet. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and open this text file. Okay, this text file, I cannot open it. I need to import it. Okay, so I go here, click on File, and click on Import. Okay, and I will get different options here. I can do a CSV file, HTML file, or a text file. CSV stands for comma separated values. HTML is the word file, and text file is our case. So we have a text file. Let's go ahead and import that. Okay, and it says, where is your file? So say, okay, this is my file here, get data, and here's the moment of truth. Okay, so Excel understands how to deal with this text file. Okay, it asks us, is it a fixed width or is it a delimited? Okay, so in our case, it's a delimited. It's a basically delimited comma delimited file or comma separated values. Okay, we click next here, and then it says that what is the separator? Okay, what is the delimiter? Is it tab? Is it semicolon? Is it comma? And so on and so forth. We click on comma, and you see the minute I click on comma, okay, it understands that, okay, these values are different columns. Okay, so it puts them in different columns. The first value, second value, and so on and so forth. Okay, so far so good. Any question? Please stop me if you have any questions at the end. What's that? So we go here, we go click on File, click on Import. Okay, and then we have these options. Click on Text and Import. I say I want to import my car inventory. Click Next and select comma, because my values are separated by comma. If you look into your file, just open the text file, you see that it's a lot of values with commas, and some people just commas next to each other. It means that there's a blank column there. Okay, so next and finish, and says, where do you want to start it? I say, okay, I want to start it here, and boom, I have this file. Okay, so from at this point, we have, if you are starting from scratch, a beginner, we have made quite a leap of faith. Okay, we have done data entry and some formatting and so on and so forth. But I just assume that you all know how to take care of that. Okay, so taking a closer look, what do I have here? What is this data file? Cars, yeah. So why should I have a file? What could be the use for this in a business sense? Inventory. Inventory could be a dealership that's say their inventory and fleet vehicles. Fantastic. It's a fleet vehicles. Okay. So these are all cars that you have in your fleet, and you have such a thing as car ID. Okay. So let's take a quick look here. Okay. So here, for example, the first one is FD16MTG001. Okay, so the last 3 digits, 001, is the very first car. Okay, the car number 1 all the way to car number 55, whatever. Okay, FD is for Ford. Okay, 16 is 2016. MTG is a Mustang. Okay, so this is a code that we have created for this specific vehicle. Okay, so what we want to do is to extract some data from this code. Okay, first of all, so through this, we will learn some Excel techniques. And then after that, we want to do some calculations. Okay, through that, we will learn how to work with formula and functions. And then we will do some analysis on those data that we basically extract. Okay, we will run some at the end, we'll run a regression, and I will tell you how to do correlation and so on and so forth. But at the surface, what is happening here is that your boss has given you this text file and asks you to fill all these blank columns, and at the end, come up with a new car ID. Okay, this new car ID should be just like the car ID that you have in the beginning, but should include the color of your car as well. Okay, so if it doesn't make sense, bear with me, it will in a second. So let's start with some basic formula that are going to be some basic functions that are going to be very useful. Okay, so I want to find out the make of this car. Okay, so make of this car is, you see that there are two characters. The first two characters are showing the make. Ford is going to be these cars, and these are GMs, these are Toyotas, Hondas, and Chryslers and Hyundais. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to separate the first two characters of this code, of this ID. Okay, what do I do? What formula do I use? What function do I use? I have a function called left. Fantastic. Yeah. Use left. Okay. And then I say, okay, left of what? I say left of this car ID. Okay. And then comma. It says that how many characters you want from the left. Okay. Start from the left. How many characters you want? I want only 2 characters. Okay. You see that I have separated. I have extracted FD from this table. And then I need to copy and paste it down. Okay, so I copy different methods. You can do that. Command C, Control C, depending if you're using an Apple machine or a PC. Or you can just right click and copy and then select everything and paste. Or you can just go ahead and drag this little pointer that you have here. It's called fill handle. Okay, you see that when I move my cursor, it changes from white to black, this cross. Okay, and I can drag it down. This is a rather long spreadsheet. Okay, so, and usually I don't see the whole thing. So another method is just to double click on this. Okay, double click on this black cursor and boom, I have all of these copied down. Okay, so I have the codes copied down. Okay, so first of all, now I want to change this FD to a full name, Ford. Okay, I want to change basically GM to General Motors. I want to change TY to Toyota, and so on and so forth. Okay, so how would I do that? Any guesses? Fantastic. We need to build a little lookup table. Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and build such a lookup table. I would say that, okay, I have FD for Ford. I have CR for Chrysler. I have GM for General Motors. I have HY for Hyundai. And I have HO for Honda, TY for Toyota. Okay, so this is a lookup table. Okay, so one quick thing about this lookup table that we are going to use is that lookup table should be always alphabetized. Okay, if you don't sort it alphabetically, you cannot use it later in VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, XLOOKUP functions that we're going to use in a second. Okay, so first thing that we need to do is just go ahead and alphabetize this little box that we have here. So what do? I select everything and go to data. Okay, and under data, I have sort. Okay, so through this example, basically, we are learning different pieces of Excel that are important. Okay, click here under data, click on sort. Okay, and you see here it says that what you want to sort with column B or column C. Okay, I say that, okay, I want to sort by column B. which is your abbreviations. And now everything is alphabetized, okay? So now that I have this lookup table, I'm going to go ahead and use a function called VLOOKUP, okay? So there's VLOOKUP, there's HLOOKUP, and there's XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is the newest version and is the most versatile compared to others. But let's just start with VLOOKUP, okay? And then that will make sense. XLOOKUP and such are going to make more sense, okay? So VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup. Okay, what we are doing, we are looking up this value. Okay, so we say equal sign VLOOKUP, open parentheses. Look for this value. Where do you want to look for this value? In that lookup table. Fantastic. Okay, I look into this lookup table. Okay, and then after that, I want to say, what is my column index number? Okay, meaning that the value that you want to be read from with what column you're reading that, okay? Here I just have two columns, okay? And I want to read from the second column, okay? So I would just say 2. And you don't need to worry about that range lookup. That's for when you have mathematical use or basically actual data, numerical data, okay? So everything good here? Those of you who are proficient with Excel. 2 is the second column, okay? So here you see that in this lookup table, we have 2 columns, okay? We want basically Excel to go here, look in the top, it always looks in the first column, okay? Vertically look here and find out, for example, HY, okay? When you find HY, then look at the second column, okay? That's the column index. So, are you sure it's all good?
This is recording will be available for us.
Of course, yes, yeah. So this is it. I'm going to go ahead and click, hit enter. So I get a 4 here, okay? So I should be able to copy it down, correct? I should be able to copy it down and get all the correct answers. So no, get 4, and then boom, get ugly stuff. Go ahead. $signs. Fantastic. Okay, I need dollar signs. Elaborate, please. What should I do here?
Oh, lost the cell.
Very good, very good. So you see that as I go down, these red values change. Okay, so for example, when I'm here, these red values are reading this area. Okay, so for all of these, you see, for example, here, it's reading this area. As it goes down, it is moving everything dynamically. Okay, so I want to lock this. I want to make it a absolute cell reference. Okay, how do I do that? Easily. Fantastic. I would just do function F4 or just manually add $sign values. Okay, so that's it. That's how we lock or use absolute cell reference compared to relative. One more time. F4, yes. So we look up B2. Okay. Something is wrong here. We look up B2, B5. This is correct. And this is correct. Let's copy and paste. Not all the way to here. Okay, fantastic. It works now. You see that it changes. It basically reads TY and returns Toyota and so on and so forth. Okay. Any questions so far? Are you sure? Okay.
Were you not able to double click on it because the lookup tables in that same column? That's why you had to copy it.
Exactly. It's a good practice to put it somewhere else. Yeah. Then you would be able to double click easily. Okay. So I will do the same thing with model. Okay. So I want to take the model out. Okay. Where's the model? Model is somewhere in the middle. Okay. MTG, for example, stands for Mustang. Okay. So what should I do? What formula I should use here? What function I should use here? There's another function. So we used left. Okay. So we have left, we have right. Okay. And then we have middle. Okay. So I would say middle, MID. Okay. And then it says that where do you want to look at it? Okay. And what is the starting character? Okay. So starting character, Fantastic. It's 5. Okay. So FD and 16 and then MTG. So at the 5th character it starts and it needs to read 3 characters for me. Okay. So far so good. So this is it. Copy it down and I have everything. Okay. So then I need to basically be able to read the model full name. Basically, I want to convert MTG to Mustang and so on and so forth. Okay. So I'm going to skip this part because it's basically the same thing that we did. Okay. Just need to build another table, say that MTG is Mustang, FCS is Ford Focus, it says Honda Civic, and so on and so forth, and then do the V lookup. Okay. So this part I'm going to skip. You can do it later on your own for the benefit of the time. Okay. Any questions? Lovely. Now, you want to extract the manufactured year. What do you do? What formula I should use here? Right? Or
Middle.
fantastic. I should use middle. Okay. And I'm reading this. And it's the 3rd character and goes for 2 characters. Okay. So I have the manufactured year. Okay. 2016, 2016, 2022, and so on and so forth. Okay. All good. Okay, so now we are getting into basically the 3rd phase of our work. Okay, we are starting to work the real numbers, and then we are little by little getting into the statistics of it. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to calculate age of this car. Okay, age of all these cars. What should I do? What should I extract it from? So this is 2016 and we are in 2023. So it's 23 minus 16. Okay, so one option is just to say 23 minus 16. Okay, is it good?
No, you want to do the date. Because you want to do
Fantastic. What should I do?
the date, minus that 1.
You are in the right track. You're on the right track. We are using a function to return today's year. Okay, in 2 digits. Okay, and then subtract from that the value that we have in the manufacturer year. Okay, that function is today. Okay, today, and there's nothing in the argument. Okay, however, there's a little catch here. In the today function, I want to change it and convert it into a 2-digit YY. Okay, so I want this to be 23. So if this is going to be opened in like 5 years, it will show 28. Okay, so what I will do, I will convert it to text. Okay, so I will say text and wrap this today inside that argument. And I say that I want this to be in the YY format. Okay, makes sense? So I'm basically nesting 2 functions inside each other. Okay, so my main function here is today. Okay, let me do something I forgot to. This is going to be much easier for everybody. So this part today, okay, is my original function, is returning by itself, it's returning today's date, exactly, okay? But I want to convert it first to date, first to text, and convert it to just a 2-digit or 2-character year, okay? So that's going to give me basically 23, okay? Instead of just typing in 23, I'm automating it. So when it's opened another time, it will be automated, okay? Then I'm going to go ahead. So this is the age. The age of this car is 7 years, for example. This Ford Mustang is 7 years old. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and copy this down, okay? So I have now age of all these cars. So first,
Can you show the function again?
the formula here, yes. Okay, so today is returning to today's date, okay, and then I'm converting it into text, and the formatting of the text is going to be just YY. So far, so good.
There were 3 values that came back, the 08, the 10, and the 11.
Beautiful. Okay, so what's going on here? I have a bad value here, I have a bad value here, and I have a bad value here. What's going on?
That's a different level, so this is-
Fantastic. Okay, it happens a lot. Okay, in real life, it happens a lot. It's literally a O instead of a 0. What happened here in this data entry here? Instead of entering a 0, they entered a O. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that, convert it to a 0, and boom, it is now fixed. Okay, same thing here. This is yeah. Very good. The manufactured year instead of 10 is 10. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to 0 as well. Okay. And finally, we have one here. This is should be 09. That is 09. Okay. That is that. And I am good. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of this. And we are good. Okay, so I have age of all these cars, and I did a little data cleaning as well. Again, as I said, this is a very crashed course, so we are just munching a little bit of everything in a huge buffet. Okay, so we have the age, and now we have the miles. Okay, what we need to do to basically calculate here is to calculate the miles per year. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So miles per year, it's going to be easy. It's going to be just the the division of two values. Okay, miles is in H column and age is in G column. So it's going to be basically for this one, it's going to be H2 divided by G2. Okay, and then I will copy this down all the way. Let's get rid of these division by zeros, and let's take a quick look. Okay, everything is good. Do you have any issues, any problems?
You have one cell.
Which one is it? Very good. Okay, so before getting into that, let's clean this up a little bit. It's a little ugly. Okay, let's make all the decimals same. Okay, you can get rid of the decimals altogether, or make it just 2 decimals, 1 decimal. Okay, it's all here. Okay, so for example, I would say, okay, make it 2 decimals or 1 decimal, or no decimals at all. Okay, so let's stick with 2 decimals. Okay, now let's take a look at this error. What is this? Division by 0. Okay, what's happening?
The year is from this year.
It's a 2003 car, okay, the 2023 car, and it is 0 years old, okay? What should I do?
Right in that number.
Right there?
Left.
So what should I divide that 1,387.6 by what? By 1? It is 1, so I should assume that it's a 2022. It's a 23. So it's not 1 year old. It's a 0 year old.
Today's date.
Mm,
You just bring it over.
bring it over.
Just say before.
Then you're assuming that it's 1 year old.
Which one?
Fantastic. Divided by 0.5. Okay, so I can do it for everything. Okay, so this is when this car is 7 years old. Most probably it's not exactly 7 years old. Okay, it's 7 years and 2 months, or 3 months, 8 months, 9 months. Okay, we'll average everything to 6 months. Okay, 0.5. Okay, so when I'm dividing, I will divide by age plus 0.5. Okay, so this is going to be my age. Okay, so I do a parentheses here. Okay, and I say add a 0.5 here. Okay, why I'm doing the parentheses? Because of PEMDAS. Okay, our exponent, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Okay, so I'm adding a 0.5 here, and then go ahead.
You go back to the.
So basically, what I'm doing is instead of assuming 7 years, I'm saying assuming 7.5 years. Okay, and all of those. That takes care of that 0 for me. Okay, and then I copy it down all the way. So now I have the miles per year as well. Okay, so now I have the color, I have the driver, I have warranty miles. Okay, so here are the number of miles, and here are the number of, go ahead.
So how do you get the copy down all again?
Over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are multiple ways to copy down, but the easiest is just to go on this fill handle,
Oh,
okay,
yeah, that.
and then double click. Okay,
Oh,
when you double click, it just goes. It's basically the AI behind the scene works, and the
Oh,
problem
that's
is here, and it goes all the way to.
okay.
But there are multiple methods. You can just do it.
Yeah.
Different methods. Okay.
Thank you.
Of course. So, and then we know that this is a, for example, this car has a 50,000 mile warranty. Okay, we want to build a column here that tells me if the car is covered under warranty or not. Okay, so we are at the almost the fourth phase of the buffet. We're on the seafood section now. Okay, so we started with salad, and hopefully we haven't started with pastries. And started with salad and a little carnivore area, and then a little bit of Asian, and now we are at the seafood section. Okay, what should we do? Some crab legs, scallops. Okay, be careful if there's a lot of mercury here. So what do you want to do? We want to build a formula that tells me if the car is under warranty or not. Fantastic. If function. Okay, if the car is under warranty or not. It's if function. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and say if. Okay, equal sign if, and then open parentheses. Okay, first thing that goes into argument. And by the way, argument is whatever goes into the parentheses in front of any function. Okay. First thing that goes is the logical test. Okay, we want to test and find out if this is less than 50,000 miles or more. Okay, so we want to check this miles. Okay, and see if this is greater than or less than. Either way works. Okay, less than this warranty miles. Okay, so this is my logical test. Okay, I'm checking if the actual miles on this car is less than the warranty. Okay, and then we have two other pieces in this argument after comma. First one is the value if true. Second one is value if false. Okay, value if true is going to be yes, it's covered. Okay, so I can say yes, I can say covered, doesn't matter. Okay, and the value if false is going to be not covered. Okay, so not covered, and then enter, and then again same thing. Copy it all the way down. You see that a few of them are not covered, and then let's get rid of all of these values as well. These are all for that, because of that lookup table that we created. Go ahead.
So basically, this like function thing, this is like a specific thing to say like, okay, true, false, basically, like for what you're. Okay.
Very good. Yes. So if function, basically what happens in the very first part is a logical test. It says true or false. Okay. You can use or, you can use and. Those just return true or false. But this, based on the true or false, does something. Okay. So we are taking another leap of faith. Again, as I said, yeah, there's munching around. You cannot have a full crab, just a little munch on a crab. You need to go to the next stage. Okay. So that's it. We know that car is covered or not covered. Okay. Last part is building the new car ID. Okay. Does anybody remember what was the new car ID? What was the characteristic of the new car ID? Color. Okay. We want the color to be added here. Okay. So basically what we want to have is exactly the same basically car ID. So we want to have FD, we want to have 16, we want to have MTG, but then after MTG, we want to have the color. Okay. And it should be a 3 character, just like the way it is here. Okay, so like all the others. So the first 3 characters of the color. Okay, so what we are doing, we have dissected, extracted code a ID, and now we are putting it together and adding something else. Okay, how do we do that? What do we use?
String.
What's that?
String.
String is text or string. They are helpful. But what we use here is concatenate. Okay, concatenate basically adds. Okay, puts together. Okay, so you use concatenate. In the legacy, it is concatenate, the full thing. But in the new versions, you can just say concat. Okay, so concat works here. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing that we need to add is B2. Okay, so what we extracted is B2 is the first thing, and then we want let me see, it's going to be there. We want the year. Okay, so this is the manufactured year, and then after that we want the model. Okay, so it's going to be here in D. Okay, and then after that we want the year. Okay, so for year, what should I do? I want to, for example, from here, I want to extract BLA from black. And you all know that by now. Fantastic. Okay, so I will do a left of this guy. Okay, and I will say just 3 characters. Okay, so, and then after that, I have my 001, 002, all the way, which are the last 3 characters of the ID. Okay, so I would say right. Okay, and here in the right, I will use that very first value, and then I would say 3. Okay, so am I good here?
So for like typing in functions and stuff, does it matter like as far as like caps lock and stuff, or it will automatically like
Not as much as in programming. Okay, it matters to some extent, but Excel, the beauty of Excel is that in many cases it just corrects you.
it
Okay,
looks like an autofill. It's like-
exactly, it
yeah.
corrects you. So if you type it all caps, it will take care of it itself. It's not like Python or R that you have to be exactly stick to the uppercase and lowercase. Okay, so we are good here.
Yeah, so
Okay.
when you're doing like the cell and stuff, so if you wanted it to be instead of, let's say you wanted the whole thing instead of being 3 letters, like it was the number 3, you do like 5.
Yeah, exactly. You read 5 characters from the right. Okay, so and then again, another thing that we learned here, that as many parentheses that you open, you have to close. Okay, and Excel helps us with the color coding of the parentheses. Okay.
Oh, so is that what that is?
Yes,
color?
the colors are, yeah, exactly. So basically this red means that this is the parentheses that needs to be closed. These are the pairs of parentheses that needs to be opened and has been opened and need to be closed. Okay, so now that I entered this, what is wrong with this? Everything good? Lowercase. Okay, so this BLA is lowercase. What should I do? How can I fix that? This guy is returning a BLA, which is lowercase. I don't want lowercase. That's an ID. The VIN number of your card doesn't have lowercase. What should I do? I make it a uppercase. Okay, so I say upper. Okay, and then wrap it round here. Okay, so I make that a uppercase, and that's it. Okay, now I have my new. All right. Okay, one more time.
If you were to put the uppercase at the beginning, not or after the concat, would it do the same thing and just ignore the ones that are already in uppercase?
You mean concatenate then upper and then the whole thing?
Correct.
Yeah, it will do the same thing. Yeah, whatever goes into the argument, it will be uppercase. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so we are technically done with what we have been asked to do. Okay, but we are going to take it a notch further to go into a little analysis and cross-tabulation, visualization, and finally some statistical usage.
Wait, why
Okay.
don't you put upper in?
So when I did this without the upper, okay, I had a BLA, which was lowercase. Uppercase B, lowercase L, lowercase L. Okay, it's basically the first 3 characters of column J. Okay, I wanted that to be all uppercase. That's why I put that upper here.
Okay.
And then I will copy it all the way down. And these are going to be all my new car IDs. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me... Okay. So far, so good. Okay. So now, next thing that I want to do is to introduce you to, from this part, it's going to be a little, okay, advanced, but it's going to be very, very helpful what we are learning here. Okay. First thing that we are going to learn here is something called pivot table. Okay. Pivot table is basically takes this table, it's going to take this table that we have built, okay, and does cross tabulation, okay. Basically, it summarizes this table and gives us some summary out of it, okay. What we will learn here, what we will see is a couple of examples of very straightforward and simple pivot tables, but again, you can take this further. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a little pivot table. Okay, so let's take a look and see. Suppose that I want to see, based on the drivers. Okay, I want to see each driver. Okay, how many miles each driver has been driven. Okay, so basically, Smith, for example, here I have in the first row, and fifth row, and so on and so forth. This table doesn't tell me that. Okay, this table doesn't tell me how many miles Smith has driven different cars. Okay, but the pivot table would do that for me. Okay, so what I will do, I will click somewhere here, and then go to Insert. Okay, and under Insert, I will click on Pivot Table. The very first option is Pivot Table. Okay, so it automatically basically catches that my data is, for example, here, it's A1 to N66. No, I don't want it to go to all the way to 66. To 53 would be enough. Okay, so I will change that to 53. So that's going to be my data. And then I can do it in a another sheet or in this existing sheet. Okay, so I will do it in a new sheet. Okay, I OK the way, and it gives me this nothing. Okay, I can add and subtract. Okay, so what did I want to do? I wanted to find out each driver how much they have driven. Okay, so where is my driver? Let's go ahead and find. So it's here. This is basically we are into the database management using Excel. Okay, so let's go ahead and find driver here. Okay, these are different fields. Okay, fields are basically the same as columns. Okay, and rows are going to be records. If you want to go into database management, don't worry about it. Okay, so I put drivers here in the rows. Okay, and then I want number of miles that they have driven in the values, and boom, here you have a table. I know that Brad has driven this much, Chan has driven this much, and so on and so forth. Okay, pivot table is a very, very robust and strong tool that you can go ahead and use. And then again, we can also add charts. Okay, so for example, based on this, you can add a chart. So for example, we select everything that we have here, and then go ahead and go to Insert. These are different types of charts. Okay, let's just start with a very basic chart. For example, this is our a bar chart that we can get here. So let's take a look. This bar chart shows me that Smith has driven the most amount of miles. Okay, 300,000. Okay, let's take a look and see what is going on here. By the way, one quick thing before I do this, let me get rid of this. Okay, the worst type of chart that you can do here is a pie chart, and even worse than that is a 3D pie chart. Okay, at any cost, okay, refrain from building a pie chart. It's total C word. Okay, okay, doesn't tell you anything. Okay, it's just a nothingness. Okay, it should be wiped from the face of the earth. Okay, so from this, let's go back and do a bar chart. So as I said, bar chart shows that Smith, for example, is driving a lot. Okay, let's take a look at Smith and see what is his deal. Okay, so Smith, it looks like he always has a Mustang. Okay, so that might be the reason, for example. Okay, so we have done a little visualization as well. Okay, now we want to take it a notch further. Okay, we want to take it a notch further and introduce a couple of other things to you. Okay, first is conditional formatting. Okay, let's go back to the sheet. Okay, I mean, officially we are done. Officially, I think it's 3 p.m. and I should let you go. Are you okay staying another 5-10 minutes so I can finish this?
Mhm.
Fantastic. So let's do a little data visualization inside the chart, inside the spreadsheet and outside the spreadsheet. Okay. So for example, let's take a look at these number of miles per year. Okay. This number of miles per year. Okay. Let's select everything. Okay. And I want to be able to visually, at a glance, say which one of these has the highest number of miles per year. Okay. What do? I use something called conditional formatting. Okay. Click on conditional formatting. Okay. And I have different type of things here. But for example, for here, I'm going to go ahead and use the color scales. Okay. It basically gives you a little heat map of all these values. Okay. For example, I can go ahead and use this one. Okay. And you see that these red values are very high. These light pink values are low, and so on and so forth. What I can do is that I can convert this into a sorted sheet. Okay. So what I can do is that I can go ahead and say, select everything, or I can just stay here, go to data, and then click on sort. Okay. And say that, okay, based on miles per year, okay, sort this whole table for me. Okay. Okay, the way, and you see that it starts from the lowest, middle values, and the highest. Okay. So you see that this data visualization inside the spreadsheet helps me find out which one of the values is highest value, which one of the values are the lowest value. Okay. So conditional formatting is going to be very helpful if you want to visualize and build a little dashboard for yourself, so to speak. Okay. Now let's take it. Let's go into the statistics part. Okay. So in the statistics part, so for example, these are all the functions that you might be familiar with. Sum adds all the values, average gets an average of all these values, mean, mode, median, and so on and so forth. So for example, if I want to deal with the miles, okay, and take a look and see, okay, if in this miles, what is the total number of miles that I have here? This is the median here. What is the average here? And so on and so forth. I can use the median, average, sum if, and so on. But Excel is better than this. You can use a shortcut to get all of that with just one click. Okay. What you do is you go to Analysis Toolpack. Okay. So you click on Data and you click on Data Analysis. Okay. And then you click on Descriptive Statistics. Okay. Click on Descriptive Statistics, and under Descriptive Statistics, you select the range. Okay. You say that where is my range of data? So I say that my range of data is here. I have all the miles here. I select that. Okay. And then if I have labels in the first row, I need to check that. Say that, okay, the first row is not a data point. It's not a numerical value. Is basically a label. So I would say this label, my data is in columns. And then I want my output to be shown, for example, here. Okay. Here's good. And I want summary statistics. Okay. So I can get all sorts of different things. I can go crazy with this, get confidence interval, case largest, case small, and so on and so forth. Don't worry about those. Okay. I just want to get the summary statistics. Okay. I okay the way, and I have this summary. Okay. See that mean is given, standard error, median, mode, there's no mode, standard deviation, sample variance, and so on and so forth. So what is sum, what is maximum, what is minimum, how many values do I have, and so on and so forth. Okay, so a little into the descriptive statistics. Again, we are jumping from this and going forward to a little actual statistical analysis with visualization. Go ahead.
So basically all this is like what you do on a graphing calculator, but
Exactly.
not on a graphing calculator.
Not on a graph calculator, and not step by step. Okay, so we can get sum by using the sum function. We can get count by using the count function. We can get the median, maximum, minimum, all different functions. But this will basically takes care of everything at once. Okay.
There's no mode because something occurs basically. What is the mode again?
What's that?
What is the mode?
Mode is the number that has been repeated the most.
Right.
Okay. So when there is no such thing, all the
That's
numbers
what it is.
all the numbers are unique. Okay, and all of them are decimals. Okay, all of them are unique, so there's no mode.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was remembering correctly.
Yeah. So now let's take a look at the relationship. Okay, relationship between age and number of miles driven. Okay, so we are interested in the relationship between these two columns. Okay, in other words, I want to see if there is a correlation. Okay, between age and number of months. Okay, or based on the age, I can predict the number of miles, or based on the number of miles, I can predict the age. Okay, what should I do here? There are different things that I can do. I can do a correlation analysis. I can do a scatter plot. I can do a regression. I will do a scatter plot with a regression in two different methods, and I will show it to you how it works. Okay, so I have selected these two columns. Okay, easy method is that I will go ahead and click on insert, okay, and click here on the charts on this area, okay. This area here, I have scatter plots. Scatter plots, I use them whenever I have numerical values on both X and Y, okay. Both of my values in the chart are numerical, okay. So I go ahead and click on that, and you see that it gives me a chart like this, okay. Let's move it here, and don't worry about Alex, okay? Okay, so here I have a chart that shows the relationship between age, thank you, Alex, between the age and mileage. Okay, so I can do all sorts of add all sorts of bells and whistles to this. I can say, for example, that double click here and add chart elements. I can do access titles. For example, I can add a title here and say that this is age, and I can do the same thing, for example, for here, I can say mileage and so on and so forth, add a title for the whole chart and so on. I'm going to skip that, okay? But let's focus on this from a statistical point of view, statistical analysis point of view, okay? What do you see? What does this visual telling you, statistically speaking?
Yeah,
Fantastic, fantastic. You see that there is a positive correlation between the two variables, okay? How can I quantify this correlation, okay? I can calculate a correlation coefficient, but it's going to be a little too much statistically, okay? Okay? Correlation coefficient in business is not going to sound really helpful, okay? What we really love in business and economics is regression, okay? So regression is pretty straightforward, but what I will do, I will click on this, and I go to add chart elements and go to trend line, okay, and add a linear trend line here, okay. Basically, I am estimating the relationship between these two values, two variables, with a line, okay. I get a line here. This is the line fit, and then I can also get the equation of that line, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add chart element, go to trend line, go to more options here. I can say that, okay, display the equation on the chart and display the R squared, okay. So I will explain that in a second. What are these two values, okay. So this is the equation. This is the equation between the two. Y in this case is miles and X is age, okay. So there is such a relationship between the two. So for example, if I have a car of 10 years car that is 10 years old, I can plug in 10 for X, okay, and get the Y. Y is going to be probably the estimate of the basically mileage of that car, okay? And R squared, again, it's going to be too statisticky, but R squared, the higher the better, okay? R squared, in this case, is 93%, means that 93% of the variation in mileage has been explained by age, okay? So one quick thing before I let you go, I had prepared two more worksheets for you, and they were very interesting. But I'm going to go, obviously, I'm going to skip all those. I'm going to go ahead at the end of the second spreadsheet and basically connect this to that. So you see that there is a correlation. There's a correlation between the two variables. It's a positive correlation. So correlation coefficient is almost around 1 because we have a positive 45-degree line. And R squared is pretty high. So it means that most of the variation is explained here by age. Does it mean that age is causing mileage? Go ahead, why?
No, because I mean, it's just an indicator because the mileage is driven by what that driver has on their route, where they go every day, their specific behavior.
Very good, very good. So we can, so this is the whole idea of the chicken and egg in the statistics. It's very famous that correlation doesn't mean causation. Okay, when we have correlation between two variables, okay, it doesn't mean that those two variables are either of the two is causing the other one. Okay, basically, take it from me with a pinch of salt. On planet Earth or in this universe that we are in, we cannot ever prove that there is a causation. Okay, there's no causation. Okay? All that we see is correlation. Okay, and with theory and literature and this and that, we say that okay, probably this is causing that. Okay, and we don't know. Okay, but what we want to say, what I want to emphasize here is that correlation never is an indication of causation. For example, here we cannot say ever that age is causing the mileage to go up. Why? Because I could have a 10-year-old car that is sitting in my garage. Okay, that's one reason that it is not true. Okay, so now let's finish with this on this high note. Let's see a few interesting correlated variables that are in a very absurd way are never causally related to each other. Okay, again, as I said, it's rather a so this is the raw data that I wanted to work with you, but now just let's go ahead and review it. So this is what you have here is the this is actual data. Okay, actual data, number of shark attacks. Okay, and sale of ice cream. Okay, so you have number of shark attacks and sale of ice cream. And if you run a regression, again, I'm skipping this regression, full-blown regression. You see that there is a positive and significant. Again, take it from me with a punch of salt. We didn't go over the significance and everything, but there's a positive and significant relationship between consumption of ice cream and shark attacks. Okay, so if you connect these two in a causal way, you can say that if you eat too much ice cream, you will be attacked by a shark. Okay, what's going on here? In fact, what's going on here is this temperature. Okay, when temperature goes up, both shark attacks and consumption of ice cream go up because temperature goes up. People swim more, there are more shark attacks, and people consume more ice cream. Okay, so this is a very classic example of correlation doesn't mean causation. Okay, now let's take a look at that interesting graph that I talked to you about, and then call it a day. Okay, so this website is called Curious Correlations. Okay, very first one. Okay, you see that there's an almost 1-to-1 correlation here. Okay, what are they? Hanging, suicide, and U.S. spending on science. Okay, the more United States spends on science, the more number of suicides by hanging will go up, and there are exactly following the same. Okay, this one is Nicolas Cage appearing in different movies and swimming pool drownage. This is bedsheet tangling and cheese consumed. Almost exactly the same. This one is margarine consumed and divorce rate in Maine. Okay, so stay away from margarine. Murder by hot vapor, steam, and hot objects, and age of Miss America. Again, they're following the same pattern. Okay, here we have computer science doctorates and arcade revenues. Here, this one, I guess there's a causation between the two. Okay, and here is sociology doctorate awarded and worldwide non-commercial space launches, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I hope you learned something from this little workshop. Again, in our all classes that are numerically oriented, you will have some Excel, and professors will teach you some Excel as well. And in my supply chain class, we will use a lot of Excel and Excel templates. But again, meanwhile, if you need more help with Excel or statistics, please reach out to me directly. I can help you with like videos or material or spreadsheets and courses and so on. Go ahead.